Welcome back at 8:42. Now, as we all know, the housing market around the country and right here in Atlanta has taken a huge hit, and we may not have hit rock bottom yet. And here with some advice for buyers and sellers, John Adams, a real estate expert and AJC columnist. John, what a pleasure to see you. Thanks so much for stopping by this morning. First of all, this has been just a heartbreaking experience for all those folks out there experiencing these foreclosures. I mean, and that seems to be what keeps the housing market depressed.
Well, we think a lot of times of foreclosure in terms of the economics and the financial loss, but there really is a human story behind each house.
Right.
It's a tragedy, and it's something that we as a nation need to address. But the problem we've got right now is that this continuing recession is robbing many Americans of confidence. People that are worried don't buy houses. And then every time the real estate market tries to get up off the floor, a new flood of foreclosures comes out, particularly in Atlanta, and just takes the legs out from the market.
Right. Atlanta has been especially hard hit because of so many risky loans that we seem to have been involved in. We're always in the top 10 when you talk about the most depressed markets.
Well, I think that's a function of the fact that we were such a high growth market for so long. For 25 years, Atlanta really was the growth spot of the nation. And so it's not surprising that a fair number of those loans would be going bad at this point.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about advice for buyers. First of all, if you're looking out there right now, it's tough to get a mortgage, but if you can get one, you have some great tips for them. Number one is don't wait.
Well, I think waiting is the wrong choice. The combination of very low prices and historically low interest rates is a compelling reason to buy a house right now. Sitting on the fence, rates are only going to get higher, and eventually this market will bottom.
Okay, let's talk about advice for some sellers now. If you don't have to sell right now, don't do it.
Mark, if I could find any piece of advice to give to sellers, it would be this. Don't try to sell now. Now, some people have to do that. I'd like them to think about renting, but this is the wrong time to try to sell a house. If you do have to sell, make sure you work with an experienced professional.
Right. Okay, and let's talk about how we can end this real estate slump in 5 days. You say a foreclosure moratorium would help.
Well, we've got to find some way to stop the banks from foreclosing. Right now, there's no incentive for them to work with people. We've got plenty of situations where we have homeowners who want to stay in their home, can make some payment, but the banks won't work with them. That has to change.
I thought this was interesting, too, the federal income tax holiday for 6 months.
That's about what we spent for stimulus, and I'd rather see it go into people's pockets and let them get their finances under control.
Right, and that would be a huge chunk of income without even getting a raise.
That's
wow.
Right.
John, what a pleasure. Great stuff. Great information. Thanks so much for stopping by.
My pleasure.
Pleasure to have you. And if you want to find out more about real estate from John, just log on to myfoxatlanta.com and click on the Good Day tab. We will link you up to his website.